Okay, we're hitting the ground running today. So, Oakland teachers hold unauthorized teach-in support of Palestine. A group of Oakland, California teachers gave a pro-Palestine lessons to their students December 6th as part of an unauthorized teach-in amid the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. Now, this is really stupid, and you have to remember that when it comes to modern day quote unquote teaching and stuff, it's like a black hole, like a black box. They don't want you to know what they're teaching your kids, because if you know what they're teaching your kids, you're going to pull them out of school and then they're going to lose their funding and then they're going to be out of a job. And it's shit like this. It's shit like this. It's just like, hey, kid, instead of learning your reading, writing, and arithmetic, you're going to learn about geopolitical conflicts of two groups of people that have been hating each other for millennia, which is completely beyond the point and scope of this kind of shit. Like, you wouldn't even cover. Usually, you wouldn't even cover this in world history. And like when we cover world history, like the most we did was like World War II up to the Cold War. And even then, it was kind of glazed over. It's like this group hates that group. End of story. Move on. Yeah, it's just another straw on the camel's back before it breaks, and then suddenly all these quote unquote teachers will wonder why am I out of a job? Okay, so I've covered a couple of articles about this before, and this is continuing on. So Missouri hits Media Matters with notice of investigation, demands preservation of evidence. On Monday, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey announced that his office has notified Media Matters of a pending investigation based on claims brought by X and Elon Musk against the Democratic Operative founded watchdog organization, accusing them of using fraud to solicit donations from Missourians against its efforts to target X. Now, Elon's going with, like double shotgun build right here, and he's just like, all right, kind of time to put up or shut up and legislate all these guys who are fucking with my business and straight up lying and shit like that. The radicals are attempting to kill Twitter because they cannot control it, and we're not going to let Missourians get ripped off in the process, said Bailey, adding, I'm fighting to ensure progressive tyrants masquerading as news outlets cannot manipulate the marketplace in order to wipe out free speech. Yeah, going good, Super. Oh. Specifically, Musk's suit claims Media Matter has opted for new tactics in this campaign to drive advertisers from X. Uh, Media Matters accessed accounts that have been active for at least 30 days, bypassing X ad filter for new users. And on top of that, they were generating between 13 and 15 times more advertisements per hour than viewed by the average X user, repeating inauthentic activity until they finally received pages containing the view results they wanted. So pretty much what they did is they ran. This is the uh, media slash advertiser social media equivalent of a false flag event. So what they did was they doctored results and show like, oh, these results that we're getting, and we're seeing these questionable advertisements, and we shouldn't be seeing these advertisements on these sources. Ooh, so they bullshit and gaslit a report by faking the data. This is literally faking the data. And of course, the guys in Missouri are having none of it, which is good for Elon because he has someone else in his corner is like, hey, we're getting screwed over too. Let's talk business. LinkedIn of the new guy. I'm not sure what you're talking about. What, like the CEO, like the COO of X? Yeah, that one's bit of a character. But at the end of the day, Elon's still in charge of his new baby, that is X. Yeah, pretty related. I'm not going to cover that shit unless I get bored. Doop doop doop. Yeah, if you post in the general channel of my Discord, I might look at it. Let's see. Tucker Carlson launches streaming subscription service. Tucker Carlson has launched a new streaming service, the Tucker Carlson Network, which costs $9 a month with a 6-month introductory price to become a founding member. Okay, I have mixed feelings about this kind of shit and stuff because the reason why Netflix was so successful back in the day was because it was the one-stop shop for media. Everybody was on the Netflix service, and then all you had to do was have the one subscription. But then everyone wanted a piece of the pie, and so everyone has their own subscription service, and it's almost as bad as cable TV at this point, whereas why are you even paying for anything at that point? I'm just going to go back to pirating. But I digress. Interviews, behind the scenes footage, commentary, and early access tickets, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, business as usual. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. I wish them the best in this service and stuff, but again, this is just adding more, like, just another service I'm going to end up ignoring because I ain't paying for any of this shit. And I can't imagine many other people are either, unless you're part of unless you're like a journalist or a politician or something. Like, I don't see this business doing gangbusters. Like, Tucker Carlson on his Twitter Spaces on X, or X Spaces, or whatever the fuck they're calling them now. Like, he's pulling like gangbuster numbers compared to like Fox News and CNN and the rest right now. So that's kind of like, okay, you have this massive market. Now you're going to start paywalling them. I don't think that's going to transfer over as much as he thinks they might. But I could be proven wrong. There's going to be a few. There's going to be a few of these from the COP28. The COP28 climate meeting just wrapped up and stuff. So there's going to be a couple of these. The most part of this year I've already covered. So OPEC refuses to kill itself to please transition fans. OPEC has called out on its member states to refrain from signing any document calling for the phase out of hydrocarbons. French Energy Minister Pierre Renault. I am stunned by these statements from OPEC Plus. I am angry. Well, cope, seethe, dilate. Given the non-existent possibility that OPEC will change its mind, and the fact that the same is true for the EU climate change advocates, chances are COP28 may go down in history as one of the most useless editions of the summits. I'm going to spoiler warning. They were all of these meetings for the stupid climate change crap is useless. Every single one of them. This is just the most useless of the batch so far. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Yeah, so it's just kind of going over. It's just going over how, yeah, it's like everything was hunky dory at this meeting stuff, like what we've been covering the last few weeks. But yeah, when OPEC, read Saudi Arabia, doesn't want to play ball, then there's not much you can do. Like OPEC's not going to play ball, China's not going to play ball, India's not going to play ball. It's like, well, just BRICS entirely is not going to play ball. So, this is just a lot of fart huffing. That's all COP28 ended up being. I know I read this before, but I don't know if I reported on it. So 1 in 5 young Americans say Holocaust was a myth, twice as many Democrats as Republicans. Now, this is not overly surprising and stuff because they are really big about rewriting history nowadays. It's like we are living in 1984 in that to control the future, you control the present, and if you know, control the past and all that shit and stuff. And it's like the Harvard, like the Ivy League congressional hearing the other week and stuff, and the fallout from that there is kind of is tied into this here. And you know, it's like the Holocaust is myth, Holocaust is exaggerated. It's just like the young, like the older people, like you know, went through that shit. So it's just like, yeah, I get it and stuff. But like the younger you get, like there, this is a very clear case of a generational gap. They didn't experience it, so to them it's kind of just like, could have happened. Maybe I didn't see it, kind of thing and stuff. But it also comes down to the fact of the powers that be are courting a certain demographic. And when they support that, their little progressive stack starts falling apart because you have two protected classes, quote unquote, fighting each other. In this case, it's the Jews versus the Muslims, or Israel versus Hamas, or however you want to break it down. There's a conflict where it's like, honestly, I don't care about either, but they have their narrative and they want to go for it. And because they've elected to pick one side, certain things that said side are promoting, for example, Holocaust denial, seems to be having a new resurgence now because they have carte blanche to do so. And yet they're somehow surprised at how things turn out. It's like, oh my God, we're telling kids to say death to Israel and up with Palestine. And they're shocked when the kids start saying kill all Jews and Hitler didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, that's that. Okay, this here tickled my fancy. What strong consumer? Hasbro lays off 20% of company plunging toy sales. Now I follow the Hasbro stock because I'm into Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast in general and stuff. Now here's the kicker. Every segment of Hasbro's portfolio is in the red with the exception of Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast is the only thing that's keeping Hasbro itself afloat at this point because they are hemorrhaging money on all their other properties, like all their games, all their toys and stuff. They are running on razor thin margins, and consumer discretionary spending is an all-time low right now. So of course you're not going to be buying toys and games and stuff when you're barely able to put food on the table. So of course, you know, with the system falling as it is, Hasbro has to you know, trim the fat. And after having gone through several corporate restructures myself and stuff, here's the thing no one talks about. The largest, bar none, expenditure for a company is salary. So what's the emergency measure you always do when you're hemorrhaging money and you need to tighten the belt? You fire people. That's what it comes down to. You fire people. And this one here laid off over 1,000 workers. And here's the thing. It was just this happened just during the holiday season before Christmas. What a kick in the teeth. Layoffs, which account for nearly 20% of Hasbro's workforce, were noted on Monday. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Hilariously, Hasbro CEO is named Chris Cox. And believe me, there's a lot of jokes in the Magic community because of this guy. This guy has some really stupid takes. Like this guy and his little circle of butt buddies don't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to this market. It's hilarious. Sales down. Barbie had an outlier because of the movie, of course. Last August, Hasbro said it would sell its one film entertainment wing, which was a really stupid idea because here's the thing with Hasbro. Hasbro has a shit ton of properties, And of course, the best thing to do would be have your own in-house media production company, because those things are just glorified commercials. I mean, I grew up during the 80s. Every single cartoon was a glorified commercial. Have that shit in-house. You save so much money having it in-house. Maybe 10 But yeah, markets aren't doing good, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of this going forward. But I'm just tickled pink because it's Hasbro, and honestly, at this point, fuck Hasbro. Okay, this isn't an essay piece, but it's a good one. Even though I don't like Michael Snyder too much, it's still a good read. Let's see, what in the world has happened to our system of education? So long and short of this here is kind of regurgitating shit we already know and seen before. In that nowadays it's a No Child Left Behind participation trophy. Just move them through the system, even though they don't actually learn anything. In this particular case, uh, honestly, the number of kids that are illiterate nowadays and stuff and are incapable of math and science right now is fucking horrifying. But this is kind of, the end result of a long, slow burn that we've all witnessed and actually have gone through the system. And that shit is breaking down, yo. And it's going over like a case example of how Ivy League. Okay, like we've covered Ivy League school social justice crap for a while now, but in this case specifically, it's because of the academics. In this case, the value of a Ivy League education, a post-secondary education, is growing more worthless, not just from reputation, but also in because of the marking system, and the fact that they're inflating the test score results and whatnot. So an A doesn't really mean an A anymore when everyone gets it. You show up for class and you get your A. Well, that doesn't mean you earned it. Short form writing in the internet has been devastating to literacy. Not just that, like this is systemic. Like unironically, this is systemic bullshit because people just aren't learning. You show up as a body so they can tally up the bodies and then they get their funding, and it comes down to they don't care of the quality of the work putting out. All they care about is asses and seats. And this is showing because it's like, all right, you show up and you get a pass. Well, that may seem good at the time, but it hamstrings the people and it ruins the system long term. And we are seeing the results of that there. Like I have worked with people coming out of the system, and honestly, coming out of school, they don't teach you shit. Like I saw this, I know this. Like I went through it too. The only reason why I know what I know is because I did a lot of self study and you know, pulled myself up by my bootstraps. But some people are just perfectly willing to get their easy A and then go out into the workforce where the real world is slapping them in the face, which is what I did, and I got paid for it. The ceiling's going down, so we might start seeing illiterate PhD holders. We are at that point right now. That's what this shit is. Like this line, we don't do our kids any favors by coddling them. That's all it comes down to it. I think we're all glad that we finished school before it got this bad. Like, like I remember in the early 2000s when I was going through university and stuff. Like, I saw this shit and stuff, and I can only imagine how bad it is. Like two decades out. Which reminds me, I really got to start picking on Empraise a little bit more whenever we have our powwows. Like, I really want to pick on her for like, so how is actually the social thing when it comes to school right now? I keep forgetting to ask her that. We keep tangenting on fun stuff, and I kind of want to pick her on the clown world shit. Yeah, let's see. What is this? Okay, this. The purges are ongoing. Now, I commented on the Tucker Carlson one, where you see Tucker Carlson and a bunch of his buddies and stuff like any of the quote unquote free speech guys that are on X right now. Anytime you do like a Twitter space, you get like a shit ton. I mean, like hundreds of thousands. Uh, yeah, like 120,000 people watching his space and stuff. And Alex Jones is making a comeback and all this shit and stuff. And it's funny. Uh, so this is using actually Alex Jones as a case study and stuff because Alex Jones was the canary in mine. Alex Jones was the test case for completely deplatforming someone and killing them financially. You know the Sam Hyde quote. They want you dead and they'll laugh about it and they find it funny, kind of shit. But with the return of Alex Jones, that's kind of throwing things for a loop because everything they've done is starting to become undone, and I'm all for it. Okay, the guy writing this article goes over his own personal experience where he was going to have a debate with someone, and the ticket sales at Eventbrite. Oh, Eventbrite's its own rabbit hole, but long story short, they suck. In this case, they wanted to cancel the event and stuff, and so apparently Buddy and his workers had to go around that and effectively make their own system, which just seems to be the common trend right now. Is fuck, you just have to make your own system if you're not going to play ball with the powers that be. And he did, and his debate interview thing went off without hitch. But we went through this shit before. Remember, like the mid 2010s, like all the the reading anytime like Ben Shapiro or someone like that would go to a university, the mob would come out and start wrecking shit, and that's like the dawn of the modern day cancel culture. It's still going on right now and stuff, but the tide is turning. It's not all bad. Baby steps. I just went back to back. I didn't even think about this. It's like back to back academia stories. That's okay. Neil Ferguson, the Treason of Intellectuals. This is actually a really good essay. And what he goes over is that, how do I put this? Okay, so we've been labeled a basket of deplorables, and that's the narrative, is that the quote unquote far right, the hard right, the alt right, blah blah blah, are all these dumb idiot hicks who don't know any better. But history doesn't exactly bore that out, because the main proponents back in the day, in this case we're picking on the Nazis, so back in the day when the rise of Nazism started, it didn't start with like Cletus and Jeb kind of stuff. It started off with the intellectuals of Germany, and they were all for, like, the intellectuals at the time in Germany. Like, you have to remember the historical context. Germany back in the day was the be all end all center of academia for the world. Like, if you wanted really hardcore credentials and academic clout, you went to Germany to get your education and stuff. And that's what the system was leading up to, the rise of the Mustache Man. But once Hitler and the Nazis came into power and stuff, then they started changing the system, and most of the smart people got out and stuff. But not all of them could. Some had families. Some of them were tied to like these universities and whatnot. And it was kind of like like a between a rock and a hard place. But you see this shit continuing to this day. Like the ongoing, like the culture war. The culture war is continuing to this day, and it is still taking place in the universities and stuff. But it's not the, quote unquote, idiots that are the bad people and stuff. it's the academics that's promoting all this stupid shit that we see. Like I covered the article the other week of you don't hear protest and all this social justice shit in like trade schools because trade schools locked down that Marxist bullshit really early on. They're just there to get an education to go to work. And that's a really good line. This separation between scholarship and politics has been entirely disregarded at the major American universities in recent years. Instead, our most elite schools have embraced the kind of institutional change that gave the president for, I think, is Harvard, has a champion, and look where it's led us. And this is true. Today's progressives engage in racism in the name of diversity and nationalist academics of interwar Germany were at least overt about their desire for homogeny and exclusion. You know, it is the horseshoe, like the horseshoe theory meme is real. It is a thing. So back in the day, you had the Nazis taking over the universities and dictating the way, the racial superiority thing. Like their racial superiority is the same as today's modern Marxists of, again, they're picking on racial superiority. It's just instead of, the white Ubermensch, now it's the black Ubermensch. Just a different coat of paint, literally. Yeah, and the longer that the interwar period between World War One and World War Two went on, Hitler and the Nazis kicked out and started cracking down on all the Jews and stuff, and the double-edged sword fallout of this here is that the brain drain in Nazi Germany for when all the educated Jews left and stuff, they took that knowledge system with them, and you get little hypothetical thought experiments of like, okay, if Hitler didn't crack down on Jews, could he have made his magical super weapons and won the war? Who fucking knows? But the fact of the matter is, the brain drain happened, and it was into our long-term favor. I love history. Non-Jewish German academia did not just follow Hitler down the path to hell, led the way. A few examples will suffice, and it goes over a bunch of examples and stuff. But again, the crux of this article is that this insane bullshit started and was promoted by and cheerleadered and championed by the quote-unquote intellectual class. So, like during like the Nuremberg trials and stuff, it came down to I was just following orders was not a good enough excuse. And same thing when it came to the academics and collaborators and like the scientists and stuff. It was just like, oh, I was just doing research. Yeah, you were doing research for fucking Nazis. There's no justification for that, dude. You knew what you were doing. You made your bed. You will fucking lie in it. I don't know. It's long, but it's a really good read. Next. Okay, I got a few Cop 28 ones. So when I make these lists, I'm making the archives and adding it to my Discord channel as they come. So a lot of this stuff is in timeline, so it is in chronological order. So with this one here, Cop 28 headed for complete failure. Spoiler alert, it does. Head for complete failure as fossil fuel debate rages. Now, this happened when they had to go into overtime for the meeting to actually draft their quote-unquote climate resolution and stuff because Saudi Arabia and the other OPEC countries said, like, yeah, how about you soften that language or else we're not going to sign it, kind of thing. And that's what's going on with this here. And we're going to come back to that in a little bit. Okay, okay, this one. German mayor slams Der Spiegel's call for mainstream parties to cut off AFD for the sake of democracy. Now, it's kind of funny. I was just talking about the no Germans a few minutes ago. So, riddle me this, Batman. Riddle me this. If I recall correctly, which party was in German history that outlawed all the other parties and were when they were in power? Which was the party that locked down political the freedom of politics? I wonder. And look who seems to be doing it now. It's not the AFD. No, that's the party that wants that they want to shut down. This is a really bad look for you, Germany. Just saying. Yeah, so the Green Party in Germany is they're the little cheerleaders in this particular story of saying like down with the AFD, and we should ban the AFD for their dangerous thought of freedom and free speech. Oh, the horrifying things of free speech. We got to crack down on that free speech. This is what they sound like. If you bring this up with average Germoid, they flip their shit. Yeah, because they don't want to admit that they're still literal Nazis. Honestly, this shit doesn't get better than this. History repeats itself. Yep. Speech for free. I know. I got me 420 speech in my yard right now. It's free. You can just go out there and take it. I just like this. The people are stupid. This is literally their train of thought. The people are stupid. If they don't want to vote properly, we'll just change the rules until the results suit us. And warn that such a move would shake the foundations of the Constitution. No fucking shit. Your Constitution was rewritten after the Nazis specifically to stop this shit. Germany, your Constitution was rewritten to stop this shit, and you want to do this shit. You're going backwards, Germany. Backwards. And you wonder why people turn away in horror. Yeah, no shit. Fuck these guys. We call the Green parties over here watermelons. Green on the outside, red on the inside. Yeah, unfortunately in Canada, we have watermelons, which is the Green Party. I don't know if a fruit that has a green on the red on the inside and green on the outside. No wait, yeah, orange on the outside and red on the inside. Oh no wait, we do grapefruit. Okay, so the Green Party of Canada is our watermelons. The National Democratic Party, the NDP, that's the grapefruit because they're orange on the outside and red on the inside. The Liberals, red on the outside, red on the inside. The Conservatives, blueberry, I guess, because they're blue on the outside and red on the inside. What I'm getting at is Canada doesn't have a free party. The People's Party, which was the splinter group from the Conservatives, they have a snowball chance in hell of going. Like I do like them and stuff, but we run on the first past the post system, so yeah, they have no chance. And unfortunately in Canada, the fact of the matter is the Green Party, the NDPs, and the Liberal Party are unofficially a coalition government. And you have those three parties cannibalizing their votes, but they, at the end of the day, they all agree with each other on voting in Parliament and stuff. So it's like, well, shit. Okay. Speaking of Canada, okay, this is going to bring my piss to a boil. Canadian Human Rights Commission labels Christmas celebration discrimination grounded in colonialism. Motherfucker, I hate my country so much. Okay. So the Human Rights Commission is a make-work organization in Canada, which is a complete waste of money. And this particular brand of retardation is them saying, Oh, Christmas. Christmas is a white man colonialism anachronism of the whitey. It's like, so we can't. So like they're saying like, okay, we can't promote and Merry Christmas and shit. You know, like the war on Christmas is real, and this is literal legislation and living example of the war on Christmas and stuff. So it's like, you know, anti-Christians, anti-whitey, and it's all the shit we've seen before. But again, it just never ends, and it's fucking infuriating. I don't know. There's not really much to say other than yeah, the war on Christmas is a thing. Here's the proof. They're literally legislating and putting out proposals and, you know, like best practices and stuff and yada 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 for government agencies. It's the age old thing. It's like they want you to say Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas and blah blah blah. And I don't know, fuck these guys. Just fuck them. Ooh, okay. This here is a good pick. This here is a good pick me up. Google loses on every count in Play Store antitrust case with Epic Games. Now, this was a long ongoing lawsuit between the Epic Games Store and Google because they had effectively a monopoly. Let's be real. The Play Store is a monopoly. Like the Google Play Store and the Apple Store, they are walled gardens. Let's not kid ourselves. And it is effectively a monopoly and stuff. And you have to play by their terms and conditions, or else you're not going to be able to get into the market. Now, what Epic did is they legislated. They went to they lowered up, and with the result of this here, God bless the legal system when it works. In this case, Google lost. So Epic Game Store sued them for monopoly, and they won. Now, Google's going to appeal this, and even if they lose the appeal, they're still going to have to go to arbitration to actually remediate the grievances against Epic Game Store, and I assume some other companies will probably latch onto this. But here's the kicker. This here sets the precedence. So when this is all said and done, the monopoly of the marketplace, either Google or Apple, because it's the big two, these monopolies will effectively be broken up in that they won't be able to keep out people from using their store. And this is a good thing. Guns of appeal. Yeah. So that's the long and short of it. The Google versus Epic Game Store. The Epic won, as much as their service sucks, but I like two assholes going at each other. No matter who wins, I'm gonna have a good time about it. And in this case, it's for the overall good, and I'm for that. Mm-hmm. Okay, back to academia. Ahem. Harvard refuses to fire gay. God, you can't make this shit up. Refuses to fire gay, instead issues statement in her defense. So Harvard minority president Claudine Gay, aka this bitch, who checks the box in diversity checklist, will keep her job after a week of calls for her ouster after 700 faculty members signed a petition urging the school's leadership to overlook her answers last week in Congress regarding anti-Semitism on campus, as well as allegations she is a prolific plagiarist. I also covered that there the other day too. So this bent is a diversity hire. Is all about Palestine, and he cheats. Harvard is not sending their best. We've known this for a while now. Yeah, so they're just confirming that they're going. So, like the other bitch got fired. This one here looks like she's going to stick around for a little bit longer, but I'm kind of curious to see how long this is going to last. When the donors, the alumni, start withdrawing their donations to the university to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm kind of curious to see how long this is going to last. Yeah, that's about it. So I eagerly look forward to the next instance of her coming up in a news article. Oh, God. Just when you thought it was safe to go back into American politics. Democrats enlist Russia hoaxer Hillary Clinton into the Biden re-election effort. This is how fucking desperate the Democrats are. The Democrats are so fucking desperate, they're going to end up running Biden again. We all know this. They're going to run Biden again, but they're dragging back the Hilda Beast. Hilda Beast is going to be part of the re-election campaign party. Okay? They're bringing back Hillary goddamn Clinton. And who knows what the fuck she's going to do, but I'm sure she's going to make $1 or $2 from it. You know, whatever's going to happen in the 2024 election is probably going to benefit Hillary Clinton, and she's going to probably run to the bank. And you know what? The Democrats deserve each other. Let's be real. They deserve each other. I think Joe Biden's going to need more than an "I'm with her" T-shirt with all his political problems. You don't say. Oh, I just love this line though. But you know you are in deep, deep trouble if you're picking up the bat phone and calling Hillary Clinton to come help you out. Her continued adding, and I think it was a sort of interesting that their thinking is that he needs help among women voters. If you need help among women voters and you're a Democrat and you're running against Donald Trump, you should just quit because it's over. Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay, this is interesting. Yep. Oh, you and I both know that Biden is nothing but hardcore painkillers and antipsychotics at this point. The Biden administration has literally been a weekend at Bernie's. It has literally, like, the American government right now is weekend at Bernie's, and I am all for it because this is a fucking shit show. But moving on. Rumble hit with unprecedented cyber attack. Here's the kicker. After posting January 6th security cam footage. Now, the other week, a couple weeks ago, the Speaker of the House released, redacted, but for the most part, released all the security cam footage from the January 6th protest, and they posted it all on Rumble. And funny enough, when they posted it on Rumble, Rumble has a denial of service attack. Oh. It's almost, it's kind of like with Josh and the Kiwi Farms. It's like, funny. The domain is not working right now when this certain thing is going on. Funny how that works. What a coincidence. Well, in this case, it's just like Rumble hit with an unprecedented cyber attack shortly after security camera footage from January 6th was posted on the platform. Really makes you think. It's almost like the powers that be don't want you to see this shit. But it looks like they resolved the issue and stuff and is back up and running now. But again, it's just fun. It's just interesting to point out the coincidence of this happening. Huh. Oh, God. Okay, so here's another satanic panic story, which I'm surprised in this that I'm getting these kind of stories in the year of our Lord 2023. Oh, look, it's a satanic goat skull and pentagram at the Iowa state capitol. So, residents of Iowa have expressed disbelief after the governor allowed a satanic Christmas display featuring a Baphomet skull and blood red pentagram to be placed inside the state capitol. Governor Kim Reynolds is under pressure to remove the display placed there by the Satanic Temple, with Iowa State Representative Brad Sherman leading the charge, labeling it evil and disgusting. Yeah, no fucking shit. I mean, for fuck's sakes. Modern day governments are run up by a bunch of Satanists and stuff. Like, that's kind of like beyond shadow of a doubt at this point and stuff. But you're supposed to make that sneaky, not blatantly obvious. Oh god. Uh, I mean, the footage was also YouTube, and there was no DDS causal link needed. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. It could be a coincidence, could not be, but again, I just find it convenient. Because again, you have to remember, Rumble doesn't have the nearly the same infrastructure as YouTube does. YouTube as shit as YouTube is, at the end of the day, it's still the biggest system, and it's a big robust system. As much as we have all the hiccups and stuff, the framework is there for it to handle those kind of loads and stuff. Rumble, on the other hand, Rumble is real small independent service. Please ampersand. Oh god. Yeah, Rumble is small though. YouTube is massive. Yep. Unfortunately, the Gen X and Millennials are getting into power when Satanism is in the news again. Hey, I grew up during the original Satanic Panic, so this has got an old hat for me. It's almost like a return of an old friend. It's like, Satan, it's been a while. How you doing, buddy? Okay, where was I? Okay, I've already covered this a few times, and this is just more of the same. Ready to Rumble lawsuits against censorship industrial complex heat up after Musk kicks open the floodgates. So yeah, so we have all these lawsuits and legislations going through right now for the censorship industrial complex, and one of the bodies that Musk is suing is the Center for Countering Digital Hate, which isn't exactly what it says on the tin, because and I know, if you call something one thing, if you have to say that you're a certain thing, at the end of the day, that means you're probably not. Like, I don't think the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is democratic. In this case, I don't think the Center for Countering Digital Hate counters digital hate, as opposed to they want to insert their own narrative. And if the world's richest man wants to sue them into the ground, I'm all for it. Well, it's only a satanic temple. They do that mostly to troll around, and it would be the Church of Satan would be concerning. Yeah, no, trust me, I know the distinction between the different sects of Satanism. Like, I get it and stuff, but again, at the end of the day, when it comes to that, their shit is the literal optics. You don't want to be the governor of a state, and your constituents find out that you're promoting, the one of the satanic churches. That's just not a good look. Yeah, this is just going over all the different lawsuits and stuff that Musk is starting, and this is going to be an ongoing thing, because again, the law system takes forever to hammer things out. Like the lawsuit between Google and Epic Play Store, that took a few years, and this is probably going to take a while too. But again, this is going to be just like an occasional update kind of thing. Okay, this one's weird. McLayoffs incoming, McDonald's embracing Google's AI for online ordering. Now, we know that Google too, but we know that major industries are phasing out human labor as a cost-cutting method, and we've been over this before. But in this particular case, this one's kind of weird. McDonald's already has their self-serve kiosk. They want to eventually roll out the robot burger flippers. That's a little ways away, but it is coming. But in this case, they want to use Google's AI for online ordering. Now, I'm guessing this is more of a metadata, uh, trends, predictive ordering kind of shit and stuff. So that's why I imagine mostly this here is, but it's kind of weird. It's like McDonald's wants like AI algorithms to sort out their business. I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. I understand this, but it's still weird. It's like, motherfucker, you sell burgers. Like, I know the supply chain and just-in-time delivery and all this stuff. Like, I know the system is really tight. Like, I know the system is run tight. But you have to keep things in perspective, man. Come on. I know. It's just lines like this here kind of make me wonder. It's like pairing the iconic brand, size, and scale of McDonald's with Google's cloud, deep history, and AI and technology and innovation will redefine how this industry works and what people expect when they dine out, he continued. And I love the closing line of this. All that is nice, but we've all been looking over for the last 3 decades is to just get no onions on our burgers. I actually like onions, but I get the sentiment. On our burgers when we specifically ask for no onions. Has AI solved that problem yet? No. Yes, in this literal case, in this one literal case, it is the stone toss meme of sell burgers. Yes, in this case, they are trying to sell burgers. But I know behind the scenes for this for this particular instance of artificial intelligence or machine learning integration. In this particular case, I know it's because of their supply, the supply chain. This is a supply chain orders management kind of thing stuff. Like the numbers of business is its own science, and implementing AI into the system and stuff, it does make sense. But again, like we're joking, it's like they just want to sell burgers. And to have all this technology just to sell burgers is funny. You have to laugh at it. You just have to laugh at the juxtaposition of high end technology and selling burgers. It is funny. Looking forward to McDonald's firing all employees yet not lowering their price a single cent. Motherfucker, we all know McDonald's right now. I don't go there anymore because the service is shit, the quality is shit, the portions are shit, and the price is an all-time high. Like, honestly, it's just not worth it anymore. Like, the fast food industry is going to kill itself because the selling point of fast food has been up until now fast, cheap. It's neither fast nowadays because it takes forever and they always fuck up your order, and it is expensive. So you lost your two major points of fast and cheap. So what's the fucking point anymore? And I actually do follow the stock prices for some of these companies, and a lot of them are hurting right now. I mean, we covered the Subway buyout, well, attempted buyout a few weeks ago and stuff, and that's just not going away, and it's only going to get worse. I don't want a Jetson Society. Can we go back to the Flintstones? What's the deal with fast food? It's not fast and it's not food. Actually, I really need to add the sign field. Add sign field theme to sound board. That's a good idea. Actually, I think I might have the next best thing. Add next best thing. Okay, but I'm gonna add the Seinfeld one. Okay, next. Portland officials propose to reban public drug use. Governor to declare fentanyl emergency. Funny, because I distinctly remember not that long ago, during these summer of love, if you will, the peaceful but fiery protest, a fiery but peaceful protest that Portland and all its sister cities were all about the druggies. Like, yeah, come right in and do open drugs on the streets, shit on the streets, piss on the streets, and have the white flight and business flight run your city into the fucking ground. And suddenly, with all these major businesses leaving, like, and all the taxpayer base leaving and stuff, and again, this is at the end of the day, this is just coming down to money. So when they're losing all this money and stuff, suddenly, for no apparent reason, drugs are suddenly bad. Who could have foreseen the consequence of these events? Fuck these people. Portland City's City Task Force has proposed to restore a ban on illicit drug use in public areas just as part of the city's long-term plan to solve its most pressing challenges. So, are you going to start suddenly funding the police again? Because you're going to need the police to enforce this shit. So suddenly, magically, cops aren't going to be bastards anymore. Banning public drug use might just have been one of the stupidest decisions a municipality has ever taken. I would argue is but one of many. We know this. It's one of many stupid decisions. Of course, all these stupid decisions tie together. And, like, they all tie together. Like, okay, we're going to allow public drug use. We're going to defund the police. We're going to have a revolving door in the prison system. We're going to effectively legalize small level theft under $1,000. Yada 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 yada. I'm personally extremely anti-drug, including smoking alcohol. So good change. Yeah, me too. At the end of the day, I am a bit of a libertarian. So you do you, leave me out of it. As soon as I'm in it, we're gonna have problems. Lawmakers should restore law enforcement's ability to prosecute for attempts to deliver illicit drugs to another party based on the amount. Yep, that makes sense. After becoming law, illicit drugs such as fentanyl, meth, and heroin were decriminalized, allowing small amounts to be carried for personal use. Yep, and we saw how that turned out. Ms. Kotek said that confronting challenges facing the city and a broader state will require the hope and fortitude of an entire community. What community? You fucking kicked out anyone who cared about the community. The only ones left there are the degenerates, the criminals, and the druggies. You made your bed, fucking lie in it, you dumb bitch. Oh god, couldn't happen to a nicer group of people. Oh, speaking of clown world getting a heavy dose of reality, IBM slapped with federal civil rights complaint after racist CEO's obviously illegal hiring practice leak. IBM has been hit with a federal civil rights complaint after James O'Keefe posted a video leaked by an insider of CEO and chairman Arvind Krishna outlining racist business practices. Now, what this asshole did, this asshole was all about the diversity inclusion initiative, and pretty much was he ran IBM. It still does right now. Runs IBM to the point of effectively, we need more blacks and minorities and get rid of whitey. And funny enough, when you have racist hiring practices that are literally, no offense or buts, do not pass go, do not collect $200, fucking illegal, and the shit comes out, you're going to end up your ass in the sling because you're going to get fucking sued to hell. Admitted to using coercion to fire people to reduce their bonuses if they don't discriminate in the hiring process. So here's how it worked, how it went down. He gave his marching orders to HR. You have to hire the minorities and get rid of the whiteys. And anyone who didn't play ball, they got rid of. And of course, all this comes out in this little expose. And James O'Keefe James O'Keefe's new organization releases this year, and it gets retweeted by Elon Musk, and of course, the news disseminates. Yeah, so the Title VII, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, prohibits IBM from discriminating against an employee or an applicant for employment because of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. And this is exactly what this motherfucker was doing. Oh, shit. Oh, you can't make this up. Ajit taking over a company and hiring only Hindus after? No way. I know, right? No, it's not just the street shitters and stuff. This guy actually was specifically upping the black quota. He was upping the black quota specifically. But of course, that plays out. Okay, back to the clown world known as the country I live in, which is fucking infuriating. Canadian medical schools asked to shift from medical expertise to anti-racism and social justice training. I hate this shit. Okay, the ongoing joke of lowering the bar and having that diversity hires and all that stuff and whatnot. But here's the end result and stuff. You're going to have doctors who don't know what the fuck they're doing. You're going to have pilots who don't know how to fly. You're going to have people on very critical, like survival of your civilization, mission critical services, and you're going to have incompetence doing this shit. And people are going to start dropping like flies. But then again, this is the country that has medically assisted suicide, so I digress. I still see Candace that wants to euthanize people, but hiring inexperienced people is a new one. No, trust me, this is all tied together. There's a major controversy brewing in Canada over a proposal of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons. The school shift from emphasizing medical expertise in favor of teaching anti-racism and social justice values. An organization of physicians called Do No Harm, I like these guys, Do No Harm, these are the good guys in the story, is opposing the recommendation on the interim report by the college's anti-racism expert working group. The report states that the new emphasis should center on the values of such anti-oppression, anti-racism, social justice, rather than medical expertise. They're just hitting all the fucking buzzwords. By decentering medical expertise, the anti-racism experts suggest that the courses focusing on anti-racism, anti-oppression, social justice and equity, inclusion, compassion, and decolonization. Motherfucker! Stop using these words! And that includes perils of capitalism and other power structures. Fuck these guys. Fuck them. In a separate report, the group, this case, the Do No Harm group, the guys reporting on this here, the Do No Harm good guys, also report that the group has also opposed U.S. medical schools filtering out applications who oppose diversity, equity, and inclusion values. The group states that it found the admission process of 50 top-ranked medical schools found that 36 asked applicants their views on or experience in DEI efforts to screen out dissenters. Okay? They're fucking doing morality checks. This shit is vile. This shit is literal evil. Okay? This is shit that will cost people their fucking lives. And we know what that means, especially coming off of the pandemic and the totally not gene therapy, quote-unquote, vaccine stuff. A lot of people died for that shit, and it's going to only get worse with shit like this here, too. Most U.S. medical schools currently have some DEI or diversity courses incorporated into their curriculums. Some now give an alternate Hippocratic oath pledging social justice and anti-racist action. This shit is evil. I don't know how any other way of saying it. This is literal evil. With a kid in his first year of medical school at Georgetown, I am amazed at the overwhelming burden on these students in taking these medical courses. The first year curriculum seems an all-consuming effort to cover the basic medical jargon, training, and science. I cannot imagine shoehorning other subjects into these dense coverage or what would be jettisoned to make room for this new emphasis. Yes, it's yes, exactly, literally this. Fuck. So what does the proposal say? Literally banning anything medical in favor of social justice? Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Like they literally have they have alternative Hippocratic oaths that say that they where they pledge allegiance to social justice and anti-racist action instead of literally doing no harm. Like I've known about this shit for years at this point and stuff, but it's infuriating to see it in my neck of the woods, and just right up in my face. Okay, well let's look. Let's see. A new Hippocratic oath asks doctors to fight racial injustice in information. Let's see. We're going deeper in the links. Okay, so we went from Zero Hedge to Shots Health News from. Okay, so we went from Zero Hedge to NPR. That's a bit of a leap, but to the University of Pittsburgh. Okay, so we're in the University of Pittsburgh Pitwire. Modern day hypocrites, Hippocrates. Incoming school of medicine students write their own oath. First, do no harm, and then adjust to changing times. In addition to citing the traditional Hippocratic Oath, during the White Coat ceremony on August 16th, the members of the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine's class of 2024 started a new tradition by writing their own class oath acknowledging their ever-evolving responsibility as physicians. You don't need to tack on to the immortal words of do no harm. That's all you need to say. Hippocratic 2 Oath, the Resurrection. Hippocratic Oath 3, Hippocrates takes Manhattan. Oh, God. Here it is verbatim, so I'm just going to read. University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine class of 2024 oath. As the entering class of 2020, we start our medical journey amidst the COVID-19 pandemic and the national civil rights movement, reinvigorated by the killing of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. We honor the 700,000 plus lives lost to COVID-19 despite the sacrifices of healthcare workers. We recognize the fundamental failings of our healthcare and political systems in serving vulnerable communities. This oath is the first step in our enduring commitment to repairing the injustices against those historically ignored and abused in medicine. Black patients, indigenous patients, patients of color, and all marginalized populations who have received substandard care as a result of their identity and limited resources. Acknowledging the privilege and responsibility that comes with being a physician, I take this oath to call action to fulfill my duty to patients, to the medical profession, and society. I hereby pledge as a physician and lifelong student of medicine, I will support and collaborate with my colleagues across disciplines and professions while respecting patients' vital role in the healthcare team. I will honor my physical, mental, emotional health so as to not lessen the quality of care I provide. I will carry on the legacy of my predecessors by mentoring the next generation of diverse physicians. I will recognize the pivotal role of ethical research in the advancement of medicine and commit myself to endless scholarship with the ultimate goal of improving patient care. I will care for my patients' holistic well-being, not solely their pathology. With empathy, compassion, and humility, I will prioritize understanding each patient's narrative. There's that word. Understanding each of my patients' narrative, background, and experiences while protecting privacy and autonomy. I will champion, here's the crux, I will champion diversity in both medicine and society and promote an inclusive environment by respecting the perspectives of others and relentlessly seeking to identify and eliminate my personal biases. I will. It gets worse! It fucking gets worse! I will be an ally to those of low social and economic status, the BIPOC community, the LGBTQIA plus community, women, differently able individuals, and other undeserved groups in order to dismantle the systemic racism and prejudice that medical professionals and society have perpetuated. I will educate myself on social determinants of health in order to use my voice as a physician to advocate for a more equitable healthcare system from the local to global level. I will restore trust to the healthcare community. Good luck with that. I will restore trust between the healthcare community and the population in which I serve by holding myself and others accountable. Oh God, this is rich. And by combating misinformation in order to improve health literacy. In making this oath, I embrace the ever-changing responsibilities of being a physician and pledge to uphold the integrity of the profession in the clinic and beyond. Thank you, Imsit. Thank you. I needed this. Oh my God, I knew it was bad, but holy fucking shit. Straight from the horse's mouth. Oh my God, it, like, okay, I'm gonna copy and paste a specific archive. Let's see. Modern day faculty. Copy paste. Copy paste. Okay, add that to the list because that's important. Holy shit! I every paragraph, every line was worse than the last. I mean, for fuck's sakes, they have woman's. It's like my brain is short circuiting. Ah! Okay, my blood pressure is going to rise the longer I stay on this. Oh God. Okay. Bring myself down. Let's go into corporate military espionage. Nice little change of pace. Chinese spies offer pilot $15 million to steal U.S.-made Chinook helicopter and land on People's Liberation Army carrier. The Chinese intelligence officials offer a Taiwanese army pilot millions of dollars to steal a U.S.-made transport helicopter and land on a Chinese aircraft carrier. So we've known for a long time that China will do as China does, and what China does is lie, cheat, and steal. And this is just another case of all three. But it looks like the guy got caught before he could go ahead with his plan. So, small blessings that he got caught before he could actually transfer the hardware over and stuff. But, it's shit like this here is kind of scary. And the good news is that the U.S. hasn't stationed fifth-generation F-35 stealth jets on the island, which presumably the communist regime would be eager to steal. Yeah, it's little things like this here. It's for reasons like this here. If you wonder why the military-industrial complex is a thing, yes, but here's the thing: they don't go all in on certain allies and stuff. Like, for example, Ukraine doesn't get all the best shit. Taiwan's not getting all the best shit. And there's a reason for that. Specifically, so the high-end military state secret stuff doesn't get stolen. Like, for example, the F-22 Raptor is legislated by Congress that they cannot be sold to even allies. specifically because it is that important that that military hardware doesn't fall into enemy hands. And because of situations like this, where the reason why you don't keep your latest and greatest right at your enemy's doorstep where they can nick off with it. I found that interesting. Speaking of China, okay, are hordes of military-aged Chinese men being brought into the U.S. in an attempt to destabilize our society? The answer is yes. I don't like Michael Schneider as far as political commentary goes. I don't like Michael Schneider too much. He's a hair too doomery for my liking and stuff. But the things he says is valid. I just don't like the guy. The guy is a little too doomer, but he does have a point. In this particular case, we know that the Southern American border, also the North one, let's be honest, the American borders are Swiss cheese right now. And not just illegal migrants from South America are getting in, also militants from enemy nations are also getting in. In this particular instance, the Chinese military is getting into the states, and they're causing a ruckus. And now, what does this mean? Well, they do run a lot of subversion tactics. Like, for example, there are a lot of like weed grow ops are run by China. A lot of fentanyl labs are run by China. There was that biolab. There was that biolab in San Francisco that got closed down not too long ago. That was a Chinese lab, but and you also have like the Chinese secret police headquarters and stuff. So China has its fingers in the American apple pie, and the Cold War tactics never stopped. The whole spy versus spy thing that never ended, and it's because of shit like this. And I don't know, shore up the border, and honestly, America first. Just if you don't have secure borders, you don't have a country. That's all there is to it. Like Rome died the death of 1,000 cuts by letting in the barbarians, and this is just another case of that. There, unfortunately, is one that we have to live with. Is all this evidence of some sort of giant plot to destabilize the United States? Yes. And when the war with China finally erupts, the Chinese will already have thousands upon thousands of military aged men pre-positioned inside the United States ready to cause chaos. Yep. These are legitimate tactics. They work. I'm not looking forward to when the agents get activated. Remember the Chicom sold AKMs to the Crips, leading to the Norco getting banned from importation to the U.S. Yeah, it's shit like that. It's shit like that and shit like this. Of course, this article largely focuses on the drug thing. You know, it's largely focused. This particular article is largely focusing on the drug trade, specifically like the fentanyl crisis. But again, this is basic war 101. You destabilize your enemy, and of course, in this case, you have to remember. You do have to remember that China has a stick up its ass for revenge for the Opium Wars. So instead of Britain coming into China with opium and to destabilize them, they're turning it to the other foot. In this case, it's going to be fentanyl with the United States. You know, it is what it is. Arguably, it's poetic justice, but I wouldn't wish this shit on anyone, so meh. A bit of a long con for infiltration. How did China know they were going to survive Mexico? Well, yeah, you have to remember it's not just China that's doing this shit down going through Mexico and stuff. You also a lot of Muslim terrorists, a bunch of Muslim terrorists are getting through the borders too. A bunch of Russians are getting through the borders. I know the American powers that be are like, ooh, Russia, but they are. Like they do drum it up. They do drum it up a lot, but like the border is insecure, and people, hostile actors, are getting in, and it just happens to be everyone. Ugh. Here's the thing: playing the long con is playing the safe con. That's just good. That's just good business. Speaking of destabilization, how Venezuelan invasion of Guyana could impact tanker shipping. Now, I've been covering this for a while now. So Venezuela is looking to nick a lot of productive land, specifically oil and gas fields, from Guyana. Now, the crux of this particular article is going into how it's going to be a drop in the bucket as far as the actual numbers of petroleum for like barrels of petroleum. Like, it's not going to affect the global prices or anything. However, if Maduro goes ahead with this here shit and stuff, what it is going to do is going to destabilize shipping. Like I covered the other day of that stealth tanker that ran aground and potentially could cause like major environmental concerns. Well, it's going to be like that, and this, like if this goes through, you're going to be seeing more of that. You're going to be seeing more stealth fleets for Venezuelan crude getting shipped out and for refinement, like offshore refinement and stuff. And the markets don't like that. When it comes to destabilization, like the markets like stability. The markets like things when things are quiet and running smoothly and stuff. So if the Venezuela goes ahead and annexes parts of Guyana and stuff and starts setting up shop, that's going to throw a lot of things into a tizzy, more so than they are even now. And what will that mean in the long term? Who knows? But it's probably not going to be good. Again, I'm going to be following this as it progresses and stuff because this actually does interest me. Do, 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 do. Also, the first border war in the continent since the football war in 1969. That and well, here's the kicker when it comes to the Venezuela v Guyana thing right now. It when it okay, it's a matter of when. When it does pop off, it's not going to just be Venezuela and Guyana. A lot of people have interest of like South America has interest in this not happening, and I'm going to just point out the elephant in the room. America, the United States of America doesn't want this to go through. So, like Brazil is already starting to move military hardware to their border. So when this here pops off, it has the potential to be a contagion as far as geopolitics goes. Like South America going to war over Venezuela being a shit and taking over Guyana. It's just going to be another cherry on top of the shit sundae that has come after Ukraine and Israel. So first it was Ukraine, then it was Israel. Now it's going to end up being Guyana. What's next? The Koreas? Taiwan? Africa again? Who fucking knows? That's the thing. That's the thing with contagions, either viral or thought. Yeah, you can't really put a lid you can't really put a lid on it when the fire starts spreading and stuff. So it's kind of one of those things where like this could be nothing or it could be everything, and we won't know until after the fact. And it's that level of uncertainty that I don't like. As much as I am a doomer and I am rooting for Meteor 2024, at the end of the day, I am sane, and I want the world to trudge on for another day at least until I'm dead. So for that to be, I am all for peace in South America. I don't think that's going to actually end up being the case, but that's why I'm following these stories, so we'll see. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program of Clown World, as opposed to potentially Earth-ending geopolitics. British school kids wrongly taught historical figure was black. Children at school in the UK are being taught that Saint Hadrian, an abbot who played a pivotal role in the early history of the English Church, was black, despite the fact that there's no record of him being black. The Telegraph reports the Dark Age abbot Saint Hadrian of Canterbury has been referred to as a black scholar in primary school teaching material, despite the holy man being North African origin and not black. Yeah. Okay. Here's a little reminder for people who aren't really that big in geography. Northern Africa is not Central Africa or Southern Africa. Northern Africa, especially northwestern and not northwestern, northeastern, especially northeastern Africa, is more Middle Eastern as opposed to black. And just because, here's the thing with these people and stuff. Just the instant they hear the word Africa, they equate Africa with black. That is racist. By their logic, that shit is racist. But it's okay when they do it. But I digress. Yet another example of absurd wokedom and reaching across millennia to claim people of color. This is bad enough for content aimed at adults. For school purposes, where the main aim is to educate the young, this is inconsolable. Yeah. In another incident, the BBC had to remove a plaque they had installed celebrating the first Black Briton after scientific evidence revealed the person was not African but from Cyprus. I remember that. I remember when that first made the rounds. That was hilarious. Oh god, and I remember when this made the rounds too. Some teaching materials have also seriously claimed that Britain was a black country and the black people built Stonehenge, despite there being no concrete evidence to back up the assertions. Yakub made Stonehenge. Oh fuck. There's a joke to be made about the Greeks. Yeah. Well, just pick on Panko. It's like, hey, Italy and Greek, they're all the same thing, and you're all black. Okay, yeah, they also, I remember when this made the rounds too. The bizarre quest to make everything black also translated over to entertainment, where black actors have been cast for non-historical figures such as Anne Boleyn, the wife of Henry VIII. I remember that. Yeah, and I also remember when Doctor Who, one of the episodes, they had an Indian guy being Sir Isaac Newton. I remember that. Yep. Isaac Newton depicted as an Indian in the newest episode of Doctor Who. I remember that one. Yeah, it's just like stupid shit and stuff. And I'm with the joke of like, okay, if you want to race bend, you want to blackwash people. Okay, we're going to whitewash. It's like Ryan Gosling, yes, Barack Obama, shit like this. Oh god, I don't know. Stupid clown world shit. Okay, this one's interesting. The FCC rejects 900 million subsidy for SpaceX amid concerns of government weaponization. Now, we know right now that the powers that be are all in on anti-Musk. That also includes branches of government looking to make Elon Musk's business ventures, like slap him with red tape where red tape doesn't be needed, just because it's Elon, and there's one giant message to say "fuck you, Elon." I want an all-Asian cast for a remake of Rourke's. Now, I have to go big or go home. I want an all-white cast for Black Panther. And have like Wakanda be like up in Finland or Iceland or something. So like instead of Wakanda being like in the middle of like Africa and stealing like alien technology to be an advanced civilization, I kind of want I want white Conda forever, but like Hyperborea kind of thing, like the like a Hyperborea Wakanda. It's like if you're gonna go big, go big or go home. Okay, but where was I? Okay, FCC. Okay, yeah. So pretty much, the FCC is taking issue with Musk right now, specifically in his Starlink business venture specifically, and pretty much what the FCC wants to do. That is to say, what the powers that be want to do is they want to hamstring Starlink. But here's the kicker: Elon Musk and his SpaceX business and stuff. They are the main guys who get shit into space. Like there is there is no comparison. Like SpaceX put more shit in space every year than most nations. And that's just the way it is right now. If the FCC wants to get a sticker up their ass about like, oh, it's a monopoly, well, okay. If you think it's a monopoly, then prop up someone else and compete. Yeah, Elon. Like I know Elon does a lot of shady business dealings and stuff as far as like government grants and taxpayer money and stuff. But that's like to be expected with this level of cutthroat business shit and stuff. But at the end of the day, in this particular case, it kind of comes down to evil versus evil in my eye. So it's like two assholes going to a fight, as with everything else I've pretty much covered today and ever covered and stuff. It's like two assholes going at it and stuff. It's like I don't care. I'm just here to watch the fight. Like it's like Wings of Redemption versus Boogie. I don't care who wins. I really don't. I'm just here to see the slap fight. And in this case, it's the powers that be via the FCC versus Elon Musk and his SpaceX / Starlink, and that's all I'm here for. Yes, back to COP28. Final COP28 deal references transition away from fossil fuels. So the COP28 went into overtime because the Saudis and OPEC wanted to water down. They wanted to water down the language. And spoiler alert, they did water down the language of these papers and talks and whatnot and stuff. You have to remember this is as much as the major business and governments talking and stuff. None of the shit that comes out of COP28 is going to mean anything because none of it's legally binding. It's all fairy fugazi shit and stuff of like, oh, we ought to do this, we should do this, but it's not legally enforceable and stuff. And on top of not being legally enforceable, it's like the UN, it's like the United Nations level shit and stuff. Like no one takes them seriously. Did they publish the COP28 deal yet? This is literally what it is. Uh, yes. So let's see it in change image. Agenda as adopted. Latest document. Opening sessions. Yeah. So if you were to go to the United Nations climate change thing stuff, so it is drafted. Like the reason why COP28 is done right now is because it is drafted. It is drafted. Like this resolution is drafted and stuff. But here's the kicker and stuff. Like the Saudis won. The Saudis and OPEC won in that they did water down the language. Again, this is legislation that's unenforceable. But even still, they watered it down because, the Saudis whipped out their big oil dick on the table and said, look, we run the show. And they watered down the language to should and ought and, that kind of shit. COP28 President Sultan Al Jaber said, after the agreement was announced, we delivered world first after world first, a global goal to triple renewables and double energy efficiency, declaration of agriculture, food and health, more oil and gas companies stepping up for the first time, methane emissions, and we have language fossil fuels in our final agreement. Yeah, but the thing is, none of this matters. Like, a wise cartoon once said, this doesn't matter. None of this matters. And I knew this was going to be the end result. Like, I knew going into this was going to be the end result, and it wasn't one giant shit show all the way through, and I was thoroughly entertained. And I continue to be entertained, and I'm going to be continued to entertain because this shit is never going to end. Ooh. So did anyone have Hamas fleeing Qatar on their 2023 bingo card? Hamas leaders flee Qatar, enter hiding after Israel declares they'll be hunted down. So, for those who don't know, the Hamas leaders don't actually live in Palestine. They actually live abroad in other Saudi-aligned countries and stuff. In this case, Qatar mostly. And Israel and their glowies said, "Look, we know where you're at. We're going to hunt you down like the dogs you are, and we're going to take you out." And after they made that threat, funny enough, the Hamas leaders suddenly up and vanished. They turned off their phones, they took their personnel, and can't be reached now. Funny how that works. Maybe headed to Algiers or Tehran to evade capture or assassination at the hands of Israel. No longer have their safety guaranteed. Top 3 officials suddenly vacate their offices in Doha and left the country. No connection now with either political leadership or the military leadership. So pretty much they have all flown the coop at this point. Yeah, and Israel saying our Munich, which is a reference to the okay, for those who don't remember history. So the Munich Olympics, when the Olympics were in Munich and stuff, the Israeli team was murdered. The Israeli athletes were murdered and stuff, and then there was a bit of a back and forth revenge hit on the murderers and stuff, and it was a big bloodbath and shit show and stuff, and Israel is evoking the Munich incident in this regard of the, okay, you guys started this shit, we're going to hunt you down like the dogs you are. And I'm kind of curious to see how this will pan out. I don't know if they're going to beat Bin Laden's record for playing hide and go seek, but we'll see. Oh, okay, this here caught my attention. Okay, Goldman Sachs shutters its Paris-aligned climate ETF. Now, there has been a lot of green. It's all a scam. Again, at the end of the day, it's all a scam. So, for a while now, there has been a lot of green ETFs, and like just general green washed baskets of investments. And the fact of the matter is, the green bubble for green investing is starting to pop. Like all the ESG shit is starting to unravel right now, because none of that shit, like the grift is falling apart because none of that shit makes money. And because none of that shit is making money and stuff, again, in this case, a particular green ETF from Goldman Sachs, they're looking to liquidate it and stuff and get rid of it. I am not surprised. This has been long coming, and you're going to be seeing more of this as time goes on. ETF shutting down per Goldman Sachs press release, blah, blah, blah. I'm with Eric here. I warned issuers 4 years ago that there's just way too much supply of demand is going to get worse too. Yep. Let's see. Recall we've been following the recent implosion of green investing in ESG that's taking place this year. We wrote just days ago. Jeff Urban, who has been shuttering his sustainability fund, calling traditional climate symmetry as an echo chamber of diplomats. Less than a week ago, we noted that 30 billion have been shaved off the value of clean energy stocks over the last 6 months, and yada yada. So at the end of the day, the grift is falling apart, and I'm all for it because I saw this. I've been seeing this coming since day one and stuff, and I just tickle pink that it's finally starting to unravel. And here's the thing: none of my investments were ever going to be any of this green nonsense stuff. Like, I'm not an investment advisor, and this is not best business, and this is not financial, uh, this is not financial anything and stuff. But hard assets. If you can't hold it, you don't own it. Especially not a grift. Okay, and that was it. And Okay, so that was all I had on the dockets for news. Let's see. I don't really have anything lined up. I was. I'm either going to read the news on Friday as usual, or I'm going to have a collab with Harrow, aka Cipher, on Friday. So either or. Depends how it pans out. Either or, I'll be doing a stream on Friday. Proctor is doing a stream tonight. Well, today, in a couple hours. What else? I to this day, there's still no torrent available of a cam for Godzilla -1. I'm increasingly infuriated over this fact. What else? I got none. All right, chat. You guys have anything? I'm still chuckling over that Wakanda. I want the Hyperborean Wakanda. Shit. We have fun here. Okay, I'm just looking at my metrics right now. So here's the thing. I don't trust the numbers coming out of YouTube. There's always a disconnect between the numbers of YouTube that I get during a live stream, after a live stream, and much after a live stream. So for example, like right now it says I have 6 concurrent viewers, a 0% chat rate, which is bullshit because you guys are actually typing in chat. So do I have 6? I doubt it. Chat rate 0. That's a bold-faced lie. 13 views. Who knows? And whatever. Now, where is my example? Okay. Window capture corner. I was here. Yeah. Okay. So right now the current stream says live viewers 5. I can buy that. The last news one peaked out around 21 views in total. But here's the thing, like all these numbers and views every day the view numbers change. The chatting stream with Ravine Malith, that's actually been consistent. The reading of the news from December 8th, that's actually bounced between 20 and 40. It keeps bouncing back between 20 and 40. The reading of news from December 6th, that's been hovering between 10 and 20. It like goes up and goes down. So I don't know if it's actually, like, here's the thing, like, are people actually watching the VOD and the bot comes through and purges the views? Or were they bot views to begin with? Again, this just adds idle speculation because on some level, I do subscribe to the concept of dead internet theory. Now, that's not to say there isn't people on the internet because, you know, I'm on the internet and you guys are on the internet. But again, it's like Elon asking the questions when he bought Twitter is like, what is the percentage of people versus the percentage of bots? Like, what is the percentage of bots and algorithm versus people? And I always find this interesting. Like the chatting with Porian. I remember the specific one. I remember the chatting with Porian stream. The views peaked out around 30. And then for some reason, a few days ago, it got knocked down to 6. Why? I don't know, Porian. Even though I was talking with you, was I really talking with you? Were you not just like an AI voice synthesizer from Sweden? What is the Swedish government not telling us? That they are manufacturing artificial intelligence shit posters? The world may never know. I don't know. Here's like a very big outlier. Like one of my Grim Dawn streams back in October, I got like 175 views. I'm like, bullshit. There is no way I have that many views for that stupid little game stream. There's no way. There's no way. And the other one has like 88. 88. Uh, like, here's the thing. I don't give a here's the thing. I'm not making this a job. This isn't a thing. This is a hobby. But this here is like this is tickling my brain. It's not necessarily that numbers go big, brain go brr. More of the I do not trust the system. I don't normally trust systems, and I definitely don't trust systems. But in this particular system, I don't trust the numbers I'm being given. Because we've all seen VTubers, I know Pippa does this a lot, she'll run a poll to get the discrepancy between what her actual CCV is versus how many people actually vote in the poll. And it's always like it is always an order of magnitude difference between what the current CCV is versus how many people click yes or no on the poll and stuff. And I totally believe that there because I'm seeing it with my own eyes and my own shit of the I don't trust these numbers. Like as far as the live stream of like okay five or six of you are watching it right now, I can understand that. I get that. 5 or 6 people watching live right now, that makes sense. Now, if the reality is more like maybe 15 or 20, I can also see that because that would be an order of magnitude of what the system is showing me right now. I don't know. Actually, I could know. Start a poll. Are you there? Question mark. Start. Okay, I'm gonna just let that poll run for a little bit, and at the end of the stream, probably in like I don't know, in 10 minutes, I'll end the stream at the top of the hour to get an even 2 hours and stuff. And until then, we'll see the poll. Like I don't care if you say yes or no. I just want to see how many people vote. Like right now, we're sitting at 4 votes, and that's in line with 5 people. Of course, some people could just be lazy and not give a shit. That's fine. This is just for our collective curiosity and stuff. So it says 5 concurrent viewers, 4 people voted. I can buy that. Also, by that same token, if it just suddenly skyrockets now, I would also believe that there, but then it would be a little suspicious of suddenly skyrocketing. Oh. And I went 2 hours without taking a drink of water. I'm as bad as Pippa and Kershey. Minimize that. Those. I don't know. Okay, I don't. Okay, I do have a little opinion piece. So let's see. Where is the window? Window. Window, copy, paste. Okay, so Proctor has a stream tonight, and he's actually just going to be reviewing. Uh, uh, he's going to be reviewing a YouTube a video from a YouTuber I used to watch and stuff. How do I say this? I used to watch Cold Fusion's videos. The guy, the guy is a good lad. He's a smart lad. I do like him, but I have issues with the guy. For those who don't know, Cold Fusion is he's a science and technology YouTuber, and I take issue with him. Like, I used to watch all of his videos, but then him and his buddies started doing a podcast. And him and his buddies doing a podcast is a perfect case study of don't meet your heroes. Because in the podcast format, a lot of his personal opinions and the way he really thinks and sees the world does come out, and all his biases come out in the wash. So my main beef with the YouTuber Cold Fusion, I actually forget his name. I haven't watched him in like a couple of years, so I forget his name. But the guy, he is a young idealist, and I take great issue with young idealists. Now, why do I take issue with young idealists? Now, he is a young idealist in the sense that he trusts the plan. So at the end of the day, he's a United Nations globalist who believes the science, like the powers that be know best what's best for you, and that science and technology will save the day as long as you listen to the right people and stuff. Obviously, I took issue with this when he I forget exactly which podcast it was, but it was one of his earlier podcasts where he just lets loose and gives his opinion on things. And I took issue with him of being a United Nations cocksucker and a youthful idealist in the science and technology will solve all of humanity's problems. Spoiler alert, science and technology has never, and will never solve all of our problems. That's just not how reality works. So I'm kind of curious to see what Proctor's opinion on this particular piece will be. Let's see. Exploring Cold Fusion's loneliness video, reacting and rambling. I'm kind of curious to see what what Proctor's opinions are on the thing and stuff. So I'm actually going to be watching and paying attention. I don't know if I'll call in because, but on the off chance I can't weasel my way in and stuff. I'm giving you guys my opinion right now in that I do not like Cold Fusion, and I do not trust anything that comes out of his mouth as far as being an unbiased opinion kind of thing. Like, he does have good points to make and stuff, but again, it's a youthful ideal. Fedora scientists are awful, trust the science. Yeah, pretty much. The main problem I have with the Cold Fusion guy is that Fedora scientists are awful, trust the science guys, and he is a trust the science cheerleader. Like, he will say that he isn't. Like, I actually did watch a couple of videos after that particular podcast. I forget which one it was again. But I remember watching a couple of videos afterwards where he kind of was defending what he said and stuff, and he made a bad job of it and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, at that point I'm done. So I unfollowed and stopped watching him and stuff, because it's just like, okay, it's like, I know how you work right now. Because, like, my gut has always been right when it comes to people and stuff. When I meet someone, my gut tells me immediately whether I like this person or I don't like this person, and it's always right. Now, it usually takes a while for me to believe my gut. So, for example, what's a good example? Oh, okay. Here's a good lol cow. Here's a good lol cow Kiwi Farms example. Boogie 2988. I used to watch Boogie 2988 and stuff, but I didn't like him. But I didn't know why. I didn't know why I didn't like Boogie 2988 at the time when I first started watching him. But then it eventually became clear of like, oh, this is why I don't like Boogie, because he's a lying piece of shit who is an emotional vampire. And he just wants to grift you by being an emotional vampire. Okay, I get it. So much like Boogie, Cold Fusion was kind of the same thing. In that, yes, I do. Yes, fellow scientist, I do like the science and technology and stuff. But I don't like you, and I can't put my finger on it why. But then he had a podcast where he laid out his hand on the table, and I'm like, oh, that's why I don't like you, because you are a cocksucking globalist who believes the magic of Star Trek in that if we all come together in kumbaya and have a magical replicator to solve all of our problems, like human nature will magically go out the window. Okay, that's why I don't like you, because you are a fucking piece of shit. Okay, so I'm going to be watching Proctor in a couple hours and stuff, and you guys should really tune in to Proctor's stream, like I posted, and I am legitimately curious to see what Proctor has to say, because again, Proctor has his opinions. So I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to jive with mine and hit and Cold Fusions and stuff. So, yep. Okay, we're at the top of the hour. Let's see what did the poll say? You're a wage cut life. Yeah, that's fine. But I would recommend watching this VOD for tonight's stream for Proctor. I would watch the VOD because I have a gut feeling. My gut doesn't steer me wrong, and my gut is telling me that tonight's stream is going to be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll and then end the stream. So I ended the poll, and we had 5 votes. And I had when I started the poll, I had 5 concurrent viewers, so that kind of lines up. So, hey, we had 5 for 5. It's sitting at 4 right now, but what can you do? Anyway, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for coming. Take it easy, and see you at Proctor stream. If I do, great. If I don't, well, see you next time. Take it easy. Later. Peace.